rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Fitch.
Here.
Councilmember Gray.
Present.
Councilmember Clancy. Here. Councilmember TRAKAS.
Present.
Councilmember Harder.
Here.
Mr. Presiding Officer, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Is there a motion for approval of the journal of the meeting of July 23rd, 2019? So moved. Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. July 23rd, 2019 journal is approved. We have no bid openings this evening, so we'll move to communications.
Mr. Presiding Officer, we have no tax compromises or zoning matters this evening, so we'll move to road and bridge matters. Under road and bridge matters, item number 1, all districts.
Receive and file, and that will be the order.
Moving on to other communications, sir. Item number 1.
Receive, file, and the appropriation transfer be approved as requested. Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 2.
Receive and file, and that will be the order.
Item number 3, 3rd District.
Receive, file, and the county council be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
Item number 4.
Receive, file, and the request for proposal be approved as requested.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item number 5.
Receive, file, and the county council be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation. Same motion through item number 7, and that will be the order.
Item number 8.
Receive, file, and the county council be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation.
So ordered.
And we have a co-sponsor on that, Joe?
Oh, yes,
Yes, I'd like to co-sponsor.
Okay.
and Councilman Fitch as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Ready?
Thank you.
Item number 9.
Receive, file, and the county council be directed to prepare the appropriate legislation. Same motion through item number 11, and that will be the order.
No add-ons this evening, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you. Very well. Report of the county executive.
Thank you, Ernie. We've had a busy week in county government. First, I want to update everyone on several changes we've implemented in the county jail as part of our work to improve the integrity of that facility. Last week, in upholding a promise I made shortly after I took office, we installed cameras in the jail infirmary. These cameras are an integral part of ensuring that our inmates in the infirmary are receiving the care that they need. Also, last week we installed new signs in the county jail. These tell our inmates exactly what they need to do if they're sick and they feel like they need help. And we also mentioned that our new county counselor, as one of her priorities, is reviewing our sunshine law and issues related to transparency to create and help us create a culture of disclosure instead of closure. As a result, she's put together a Sunshine Committee work group that is systematically reviewing how the county responds to all of our sunshine complaints related to the Justice Center, and I'll keep you updated as this process moves forward. I hope we have an announcement in that regard soon. Also, regarding Justice Services, I've asked the County Council to introduce and pass new legislation that will eliminate the fees that our inmates are charged in related to booking fees and their health services. This has been identified as a burden as they are trying to reenter the community and increases their likelihood of homelessness and the opportunity to reoffend. And I do appreciate the work of Lieutenant Colonel Troy Doyle and his leadership in Justice Services as we try and improve how we take care of the folks in the jail. Yesterday I met with the new Kansas City Mayor, Quentin Lucas, as he traveled to St. Louis. We discussed several issues of mutual interest, including crime and public safety, economic development, justice services, and how our staffs can work together to try and help each other process complicated questions. Later yesterday, I met with members of the National Council of Jewish Women. We discussed several issues on which we hope to partner to improve the lives of folks in St. Louis County. These include human trafficking, the rights of female inmates, access to family planning services, unpaid leave for domestic violence victims, and the Heartland for Human Justice Initiative. I want to commend the NCJW for their tireless work to advance social and economic justice for all women, children, and families throughout our region. On Monday, Cora Faith Walker joined my administration as Director of Policy. Cora most recently has served in the state legislature, where she has a history and a brand of working across party aisle to attack very complex issues and get bipartisan support. She'll play a big role in my administration as we address many of the challenges our region faces, including crime and public safety, economic development, and restoring trust in county government. If you see Cora around, please give her a welcome into our administration. Today, I also asked Acting Director of Parks, Tom Ott, to become permanent director. Tom has been with county government for 32 years, and his leadership and commitment has really helped us to develop one of the best park systems in the region. I want to thank Tom for all of his hard work, and his appointment will be before the council for approval and consideration in the next week or two. I do want to note another action that we've taken on behalf of county employees. We recently learned that health insurance costs will go up in October for the 2020 plan year. This will be an added cost of $1.8 million to county government. We've decided to ask county government to absorb the cost of increased health insurance for our county employees. And I'm happy that we're able to do this. Our forecast for health costs this year was a little bit over budget, so we're able to redirect that for the next plan year. We do want to recognize the work that our county employees do and the difficult tasks they have in working in an environment where they have not had an adequate pay raise in quite some time. Finally, I want to salute our St. Louis County Police Department for a terrific program they have called CHESS. CHESS is an acronym for Cops Helping Enhance Student Skills. This brings together local kids and officers from our Police Athletic League, along with community members and friends, for a few rounds of chess. And I have had the opportunity to visit this environment at the pavilion at Limay, and it was really neat to see these kids off work and interacting with our police officers in a friendly environment. I want to commend the Hancock Place Schools, which helped sponsor this event, and also the St. Louis Chess Club. That's all for now. Thanks, Ernie.
Thank you, Sam. Report of special committees. Ethics Committee, please hold on the order of business. Public forum. So at this time, as you all know, we generally try to limit the public forum to 60 minutes, and speakers are provided 3 minutes to make their presentations. We'll give you as much grace as is reasonable given the number of speakers we have, but please try to remember that your remarks try to keep them as close to 3 minutes as possible. And with that, go ahead and proceed.
Yes, sir. First speaker this evening is Milton Rudy.
I don't know. How many speakers do we have?
11, sir.
11?
Hi, Milton. Can you hear me here?
Yes.
Okay, Milton Rudy, nice to see you all. And this is, if you can please pass this on to the St. Louis County Planning Department. This is in reference to the placing of marijuana growing and marketing facilities in perimeter to the local area. So this is to the Planning Commission, if you'll please pass this along to them. To To the Planning Commission, given your choices of determining the potential buffer zones to separate the marijuana farming and marketing businesses from residential and shopping areas, what considerations other than the money would motivate you to allow such a business to operate closer than 1,000 feet from those above-mentioned areas? The impact of the odor and on property values alone should make this a no-brainer decision. Also, if you decide to allow such a facility closer than 1,000 feet to the residential and shopping areas, please leave South County out of your consideration. We are unincorporated and lack the governmental protections and oversights enjoyed by the rest of incorporated St. Louis County. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next speaker's first name is Mike, and the last name starts with a D. Duke? Thank you, sir.
Council member, can you hear me? Council members, hello, my name is Mike Duke. I am a St. Louis County resident. I'm a St. Louis County business owner. I have been for 10 years, 15 years. I'm here tonight to speak to you about the St. Louis County animal control. Lately, I have been, as of late, I guess I should say, I have been volunteering at animal shelters. I have the pleasure of volunteering at St. Louis City Animal Control, which is now called CARE St. Louis, and I also volunteer at Stray Rescue. There's a couple of things as a taxpayer I would like to know about St. Louis County. I know you can't answer questions, but one of the things that you don't allow is a foster program. I can't quite imagine why you wouldn't want this, because it allows you to take the dogs out of the kennels, it frees up space, the overall cost goes down. You're talking about just fostering in St. Louis City, you have 20, 25 dogs out at a time. That's not in your facility. We're starting programs in the city where we allow our volunteers to take the dog out for a couple of days so that they get to meet people out and about. We had a kill rate last month of 3%. You have two of the best, or you have one of the best rather, animal shelters in all the United States, right downtown, Stray Rescue. I'm not sure why, especially since the audit last month, someone hasn't called and say, come in and show us how to do this. We did it in the city. We have volunteers. Your county, you have about 10 volunteers. You make it extremely difficult for the volunteers to come in, which I don't quite understand that, because that's free labor. As a businessman, I'm looking at, the volunteers, we clean the cages, we walk the dogs. Why would you not want that in your facilities? We ask about why don't we have a foster program? We don't even get an answer. It just says, well, we've tried for 3 years to get an answer. Really, the bureaucracy is that heavy that you can't just say, let's start a foster program? I mean, make a phone call to some of the other shelters, they'll tell you. And it saves the taxpayers money. That report made you look bad. These are some simple steps that you can do to at least turn it around, look like you're trying. And as I said, ask yourself, you're in the middle of all of that. You should have more volunteers than you know what to do with. Look at your income level and the neighborhood surrounding that. In the city, in the middle of the city, we have 5 times the amount of volunteers you have. Ask yourself why. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you.
Next speaker is Michelle Cassis. Yeah, sorry. Councilman Tracus, we asked the speaker to spell her last name.
K-S-I-R.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for your time. My name is Michelle Shear. I'm here to speak against the practices of St. Louis County Animal Control. I volunteer also at St. Louis Care in the city and at Stray Rescue. I'm here to question what the administration is doing about the issues. But I wanted to state a couple facts. According to the No Kill Advocacy Center for dogs. The national rate is 22% euthanasia. Olivet reports 25, higher than the national average. I would like to know why. I know you can't answer questions. STL Care in the city reports a 3% euthanasia rate. These two organizations are part of the same, and they're less than 12 miles apart, and the difference, I think, is administration. Why did they have a ORE? All these owners were tricked into euthanizing their dogs because they were lied to about what it was. Their average is 2 or more dogs a day that they are killing. And why aren't programs being introduced to prevent this? I've had a couple personal experiences with St. Louis County. I'll be honest, they were very unprofessional when I went to go in and look at a dog. They just made you feel very uncomfortable. Also, we were here 2 weeks ago at a council meeting. I witnessed the administrative staff practically high-fiving each other out in the corridor, that they got their hands slapped and they could go ahead and continue with what they were doing. You could tell it was a congratulations to each other. And I found it just disturbing. I would like to know what they're doing to correct this. Is the ORE still in practice? Did they follow up on a behaviorist? I mean, they seem to come up with a lot of excuses and not solutions. This organization needs more than baby steps. They need giant strides. The current administration is a disgrace to their positions in the community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Celeste Witzel.
Celeste Witzel. Unfortunately, this county seems set on destroying both unincorporated St. Louis County, namely South County and North County. Meanwhile, the municipalities of Maplewood, Clayton, Chesterfield, Ladue, Town and Country, Brentwood, Glendale, Sunset Hills, Fenton, Webster, Kirkswood, Wildwood, Frontenac, DePere, Bridgeton, U-City, Maplewood, Richmond Heights, Crestwood, Creve Coeur, etc., remain peaceful as usual because these municipalities are looking out for and protecting their citizens. But who's looking out for the citizens in unincorporated North and South County? Apparently, no one in St. Louis County government. Both unincorporated North and South County are getting shortchanged, again, on forced housing vouchers and now in medical marijuana facilities. If you're not going to help us or listen to citizens in unincorporated St. Louis County, then please give us back our tax dollars and let us govern ourselves. We're tired of the disrespect and disinterest shown to us, especially to our unincorporated North and South County areas, and we do pay a lot of taxes. This County Council and Zoning Commission have dumped on citizens in both unincorporated North and South County over the years. But then most of you all get to go home to your safe municipalities, while we in unincorporated St. Louis County must live with the consequences of your legislative mishaps, which many of you are unaffected by because you live in a protected municipality, like Maplewood, Ms. Clancy. That's wrong, but it's typical of the mindset of do as I say, not as I do, and live how I say you will live, but not how I want to live. Some of you apparently are not for recommending and supporting a 1,000-foot buffer zone in unincorporated St. Louis County for medical marijuana facilities, but you will certainly have this type of buffer zone for yourself in your protected municipality. We encourage you to move to unincorporated St. Louis County and live with the results of your pending legislation. But we don't think you will do that. How hypocritical can you be to continue to live in your safe and protected municipalities, but then deny those of us who live in unincorporated St. Louis County the same rights and protections that you conveniently live with and enjoy? The very least you can do is to lobby for and ensure that your own municipalities pass your legislation first. If they refuse, then there's your and all of unincorporated St. Louis County's loud answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Christy Hessel.
Hi, my name is Christy Hessel. I'm from unincorporated South County. I want to thank you for the opportunity to voice my opinion concerning the placement of medical marijuana facilities. One of my biggest concerns about this entire industry is the fact that it violates federal law. As a result, most banks will not handle accounts for marijuana facilities. Only small banks and credit unions might take a chance with this, and they charge marijuana facilities a lot of money as a cost of doing business. As a result, this is a cash-only business. My concern is security. Why do robbers target banks? Because that's where the money is. In the future, we will be creating another chain of facilities known to have a lot of cash on hand. In addition, the clientele of these places will be carrying cash for their purchases. That creates another target population that will be relatively easy to pick off unless there is beefed up security in the neighborhood. My question is, how do you propose to deal with this? Federal guidelines propose a 1,000-foot buffer between manufacturing facilities and residences. Why? Because the odor is so bad. But what is the plan for ensuring that these new commercial facilities and their clients are kept secure from robbery? If security is a problem, shouldn't there be a minimum number of feet that these businesses should be placed away from residences, schools, and churches? In addition, I'd like to know how taxes are collected from cash-only businesses. It's not like they can get a 1099 form from their bank because they don't have one. Most individuals who operate on a cash-only basis are usually suspected of tax evasion. Are these businesses being given a pass with regard to reporting their revenue? Are they paying off officials at various levels of government in order to operate? We talk about making government transparent. Why? Because corruption operates in the dark. The less the public knows about tax evasion and corruption, the easier it is for it to continue and spread. What is being put into place that will give our citizens some accounting for the money being taken in and what is being paid in taxes? Who is in charge of that? Anything tied to marijuana brings additional concerns regarding crime. We have enough crime as it is. How do you ensure that our communities, especially unincorporated St. Louis County, are adequately protected from crime that comes along with large amounts of cash? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Renee Artman.
Good evening, Mr. Executive, distinguished members of the County Council. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak this evening. I am here to speak again on medical marijuana facilities. I am very concerned about the location of these facilities for medical marijuana. Abortion is legal in the state of Missouri. That does not mean that we need a clinic in every neighborhood or municipality. It is my hope that the County Council Planning Commission will keep these facilities from locating near schools, preschools, elementary schools, middle schools, high school, away from public libraries, churches, municipal and county courts, shopping centers, and residencies. The buffer zone should be 1,000 feet from all these locations. The facilities will need extra security to keep children, grandchildren, and our neighborhoods safe. We in unincorporated St. Louis County want the same security measures and buffer zones that the municipalities are establishing for their citizens. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Ed Golterman.
Honorable members of the council and Executive Page, you have a perfect storm brewing downtown that's going to probably close your convention center in 3 years and end your convention business. And I'm not going to detail what that perfect storm is.
It is coming. At my own expense, I'm bringing in next week the top expert in these matters, who's not paid to come in, not paid to tell whoever pays him to give a report, and he and I are available to you at no cost. It was suggested to me tonight that I find somebody to help me. I've been at this 21 years, and I consider that an insult. Find somebody to help you. I am trying to help you. I am trying to save your convention business. So my expert and I are available to you. Secondly, I don't know if you know this, but those scumbags who operate the Muni made little girls cry 2 weeks ago. I can't ask you to raise your hand. Anybody know what that's about? They changed Cinderella. They changed the endings of Cinderella, and they made little girls cry. Daughters of your taxpayers and residents, granddaughters of your taxpayers and residents, they made little girls cry. And you put $60 million a year into that snake pit. I am at your service, ladies and gentlemen, but not much longer.
I can't read the name of the next speaker. The house number is 3715.
Hello, everybody. My name is Garrett Meese, St. Louis County resident, unincorporated. Good evening, Ernie and Mr. Page and everyone else. First of all, I would like to thank Ernie for the legislation that he helped push through, which is your first legislative act in office, for the distance requirements and other requirements for tobacco and vape shops in the communities. That is part and parcel why I'm here. I want to actually reiterate what several of the people back here have already said, and I'm not going to belabor that because I believe it has been spoken very well on the reasons why. The implication to that is that the situation at hand with the business that actually spurred on that legislation that is still in operation in our community in violation of the ordinances that are currently on the books. In fact, went there last night after our neighborhood meeting, and there another non-compliance aspect to their business. They have a 18 and under sign when it's supposed to be a 21 and under sign for their business. Yet another violation of the ordinances that are continually not being enforced by this government. Now, I've spoken to the health department, I've spoken to the building inspectors, I've spoken to the county police, and all three of those entities point back to the only thing holding up the enforcement of those, the ordinances that they're in violation of sits behind this dais. Because everything else I've already spoken to. I've spoken to the attorneys for the county. I've spoken to the law enforcement. I've spoken to the health department. And everybody points back to here. And it's still not being addressed. Now, we need 1,000 feet for marijuana facilities. You darn tootin' we do. Why? Because our current ordinances aren't even being enforced. So we need to have some accountability for the businesses that are currently in place and the ones that want to be in place in the future. And that's not happening. Now, you guys, a lot of this stuff happened prior to any of you being here, and I get that, and so I appreciate the fact that this is all in your lap now, but you're driving. And it's up to you guys to make us, the people of the community, feel like we're actually being heard by our leaders. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker is Tom Sullivan.
Mr. Presiding Officer, this morning I filed 3 Sunshine Law complaints against the council with the Attorney General's office. One had to do with an item being on the agenda last week that was only posted the same day. One had to do with not providing copies of the resume and application for Mary McMurtry, who was approved by the council this month to the Port Authority Board. It's absurd to claim members of boards and commissions are employees of St. Louis County. An Attorney General's opinion has made it clear they are not. So do dictionary definitions of an employee. The third complaint has to do with the April 29th meeting where Sam Page was selected as county executive. I contend it was an unlawful meeting as there was no emergency and therefore a 24 hours notice was required. I believe the real reason for the special meeting was Sam Page wanted to be picked as county executive and didn't want other contenders to gather any momentum. By refusing to allow public comments at the meeting, that also prevented anyone from making the case for other candidates. As mentioned in my complaint, the memorandum from Peter Crane claimed an emergency exists, but he couldn't explain why. Same as with Steve Stinger, I think it will eventually take a lawsuit against the county council from the Attorney General's office to get the council to follow the law. The 3 violations I note in my complaint are in addition to the 2 complaints I have pending. This is not a comprehensive listing. Even if there was no sunshine law, the council should still improve how it does business. Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you, Tom.
Next speaker is Izora Liggins.
Good evening, County Council Page and the entire County Council, County Executive Page and the County Executive. I come today disheartened by the comments made by our president in relationship to Baltimore. And as I watch the news, Baltimore is being more and more compared to St. Louis and referring to us as animals. This is a red state. And for him to openly refer to humans as animals has given me pause. The Racial and Ethnic Forum I attended in 2017, one of the speakers talked about the judges and their inability to administer the law to people that they do not believe are people. I have asked, who did you confer with when I had problems, Mr. Page, and you have not responded. My life has been devastated, and I have been left mentally paralyzed by this false hope that I should continue to do the right thing when everybody is doing the wrong thing. Inequalities are driven by silence. County Executive Page and Chairman TRAKAS, you both promised we would see change, yet there has been no real plan to bring that about so far. I ask that this county would carry unfairness and inequality on the weekly agenda until both have been achieved. I am afraid that due to unqualified administrative offices and biased judges, the rule of law cannot exist. Let everyone in this county know that we are all treated fairly. This can only be accomplished by enforcement, resolutions, ordinances, or any other means necessary. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Liggins.
Final speaker this evening is Aaron Kelly.
So my name is Erin Kelly. I live at 12981 Baalbek Drive, St. Louis, Missouri 63127. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak today. It's been a really interesting couple of weeks. So first of all, I'd like to thank you for passing and signing the tobacco legislation. You put an incredible protection in place by putting a 1,000-foot boundary between sales and our kids. Thank you for that. We, as our organization, Step Up of St. Louis, made it a priority to start visiting the local municipalities and asking them to set the same legislation in place. So we actually started, one of the groups was Sunset Hills because I live in that area. I was absolutely pleased. We went and spoke. Their council immediately said that they should formally take that ordinance in. I was very excited at how simple that was. And then was extraordinarily shocked when I walked outside, very casually asked if they had had anyone approach them about sales or manufacturing, and was told it was going to happen up the street, directly next door to a school. Very casually, very flip. I immediately the next day started researching into that because I was like, this is impossible. That can't happen. reached out to a couple of law enforcement friends. They immediately cited a federal law that says that controlled substances of any sort can't be manufactured or distributed within 1,000 feet, again, of a school, church, slide, there are all kinds of rules. Everybody, categorically, that can't happen. So when I read the planning and zoning recommendations, again, I was shocked that what they're recommending is a 0-foot buffer for manufacturing facilities, and then a 300, 500, it depends on the day and what you hear, but anything closer than 1,000 feet makes it or federally uncompliant with laws about controlled substances. It also is going to make it so confusing as a person that lives in your community. If you were to, or if the Planning and Zoning Committee was to set a 1,000-foot boundary, that's something that as a parent, I can see a shop open and I can measure that myself. So it's very clear. If every single area, no matter what the facility is, if it deals with marijuana, 1,000 feet, that makes it equal to the state, it makes it equal to federal recommendations. I have absolutely no idea why any community would even consider something closer. So I'm asking you all, if possible, pass something. I understand you don't have to vote. I understand you can just let it go and then it rolls into state law. But I don't think your communities understand how the sales tax work. It all goes to a veterans fund at the state level. We're here to fight for the vulnerable and underserved population. And if that's anyone, it's our kids. It's not these organizations that have a ton of money and can afford to operate and move to a different location. No one, literally no one that spoke tonight said anything about them not being here. They said 1,000 feet. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly. That concludes public forum. Please proceed with introduction of bills.
Bill number 209, introduced by Councilmember Tracus, an ordinance authorizing the county executive to accept a grant of up to $24,999.99 from the Missouri Department of Social Services, Children's Division, appropriating the same for support of adult drug testing services for the family court, authorizing the county executive to execute necessary documents. Bill number 210, introduced by Councilmember Tracus, an ordinance appropriating and setting apart the sum of $175,000 from the unappropriated balance of the General Revenue Fund for expenses related to Board of Equalization hearing officers. Bill number 211, introduced by Councilmember Tracus, and ordinance amending ordinance number 27,448 by repealing and reenacting Section 2 pertaining to a grant from the Missouri Department of Social Services to support the Kathy J. Weinman Shelter. Bill number 212, introduced by Councilmember Fitch, an ordinance providing for the vacation of 3 utility easements established on lots 1, 2, and 3 of Elise Acres, petitioner Sean Flower, President Flower and Fendler Incorporated. Bill number 213, introduced by Councilmember Tracus, an ordinance amending the St. Louis County zoning ordinance and the official zoning district maps by changing the boundaries of the C2 shopping district and the R5 residence district, as provided herein, PC 20-19, Hazim Bajrit. Mr. Presiding Officer, that is all the bills.
Thank you. Perfection of bills.
Bill number 20, introduced by Councilmember Harder.
Please hold. So ordered.
Bill number 102, introduced by Councilmember Clancy.
Please hold.
So ordered.
Bill number 169, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move to perfect Bill number 169.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill 169 is perfected.
Bill number 173, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move to perfect Bill number 173.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill 173 is perfected.
Bill number 185, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move to perfect Bill number 185.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 185 is perfected.
Bill number 194, introduced by Councilmember Walton Gray.
Move to hold.
So ordered. Bill number 194 is held.
Bill number 195, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move to perfect Bill number 195.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill 195 is perfected.
Bill 196, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
I move to perfect Bill number 196.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 196 is perfected.
Bill number 197, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move to perfect Bill number 197.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 197 is perfected.
Bill number 198, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move to perfect Bill number 198. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill 198 is perfected.
Bill number 199, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move to perfect Bill number 199. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 199 is perfected.
Bill number 200, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move to perfect Bill number 200. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 200 is perfected.
Bill number 201, introduced by Councilmembers Fitch and Tracus.
I move to perfect Bill number 201.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 201 is perfected.
Bill number 202, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move to perfect Bill number 202. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 202 is perfected.
Bill number 203, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move to perfect Bill number 203. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 203 is perfected.
Bill number 204, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move to hold Bill number 204, and Bill number 204 is held.
Bill number 205, introduced by Councilmembers Fitch, Walton Gray, Clancy, Tracus, and Harder.
I move to perfect Bill number 205.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Bill number 205 is perfected.
Bill number 206, introduced by Councilmember Fitch.
I move to perfect Bill number 206.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Bill number 206 is perfected.
Bill number 207, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move to hold Bill number 107, and that'll be the order. Bill number 207 is held.
Bill number 208, introduced by Councilmember Fitch.
Please hold in the order of business.
That'll be the order. Bill number 208 is held. Final passage.
Bill number 183, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move for final passage of Bill number 183. Second. Roll call.
Councilmember Fitch.
Aye.
Councilmember Gray.
Aye.
Councilmember Clancy.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on Bill number 183, there are 5 ayes.
Bill number 183 is finally passed.
Bill number 184, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move for final passage of Bill number 184. Second. Roll call.
Councilmember Fitch.
Aye.
Councilmember Gray.
Aye.
Councilmember Clancy.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on Bill number 184, there are 5 ayes.
Bill number 184 is finally passed.
Bill number 186, introduced by Councilmembers Fitch and Clancy.
I move for final passage of Bill number 186.
Second. Roll call.
Councilmember Fitch.
Aye.
Councilmember Gray.
Aye.
Councilmember Clancy.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on Bill number 186, there are 5 ayes.
Bill number 186 is finally passed.
Bill number 187, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move for final passage of Bill number 187. Second. Roll call.
Councilmember Fitch.
Aye.
Councilmember Gray.
Aye.
Councilmember Clancy.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on Bill number 187, there are 5 ayes.
Bill number 187 is finally passed.
Bill number 188, introduced by Councilmember Fitch.
I move for final passage of Bill number 188.
Second. Roll call.
Councilmember Fitch.
Aye.
Councilmember Gray.
Aye.
Councilmember Clancy.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on Bill number 188, there are 5 ayes.
Bill number 188 is finally passed.
Bill number 189, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move for final passage of Bill number 189. Second. Roll call.
Councilmember Fitch.
Aye.
Councilmember Gray.
Aye.
Councilmember Clancy.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on Bill number 189, there are 5 ayes.
Bill number 189 is finally passed.
Bill number 190, introduced by Councilmember Walton Gray.
I move for final passage of Bill number 190.
Second. Roll call.
Councilmember Fitch.
Aye.
Councilmember Gray.
Aye.
Councilmember Clancy.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on Bill number 190, there are 5 ayes.
Bill number 190 is finally passed.
Bill number 191, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move for final passage of Bill number 191. Second. Roll call.
Councilmember Fitch.
Aye.
Councilmember Gray.
Aye.
Councilmember Clancy.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on Bill number 191, there are 5 ayes.
Bill number 191 is finally passed.
Bill number 192, introduced by Councilmember Tracus.
Move for final passage of Bill number 192. Second. Roll call.
Councilmember Fitch.
Aye.
Councilmember Gray.
Aye.
Councilmember Clancy.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on Bill number 192, there are 5 ayes.
Bill number 192 is finally passed.
Bill number 193, introduced by Councilmember Fitch.
We have one more meeting that will take place hopefully this week or early next week, and I'll be ready to move it next week. So for now, hold on the order of business. Very well. Bill number 193 will be held in the order of business.
Moving on to resolutions, Mr. Presiding Officer, we have one this evening. Resolution number 1, introduced by Councilmember Fitch.
I move for the adoption of resolution number 1. Second. Call the roll.
Councilmember Fitch.
Aye.
Councilmember Gray.
Aye.
Councilmember Clancy.
Aye.
Councilmember Tracus.
Aye.
Councilmember Harder.
Aye.
Mr. Presiding Officer, on resolution number 1, there are 5 ayes.
Motion carries. Resolution number 1 is adopted.
Moving on to unfinished business, sir. Item number 1, 3rd District.
Not yet. Please hold on the order of business. So ordered.
Item number 2.
Hold on the order of business, and that will be the order.
And moving on to new business, Mr. Presiding Officer, we have 2 prepared orders this evening.
I move for the adoption of order number 1 and order number 2.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Orders number 1 and 2 are adopted. Any further comments or statements by any council members? Motion to adjourn? So moved. Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We're adjourned.